Hello, everybody. How are you? Hello, beautiful Rose. Hello, Charlene.
Hello.
Hello. It's so good to see you guys all here. Welcome to Tuesday lunchtime and welcome to the Healing Through Love show. We're here to increase awareness within the community about providing family and domestic violence survivors with a soft place to land and to offer advice and services available to these survivors and their families.
And we have many local businesses and service people who generously pay it forward at our Pamper Days by providing their time and resources at these events.
And each week on this show, what we do is we actually interview a couple of these wonderful supporters of our Pamper Days, as well as other people throughout the world, to learn more about their personal journeys, their businesses, and why they're supporting healing through love and survivors of domestic violence. So I have the pleasure of doing the interviews today. So my beautiful colleagues are going to go. Rose, we will be seeing you shortly, young lady. I can't wait for that because I get to interview Rose today. And Charlene, you're going to go and help us with commenting in the background. Beautiful girl. Thank you.
Bye.
We will see you again soon, ladies. So, everyone, our first guest today, now I love her name because I have to say her name is Burton, and I'm just going to put it out there. September is spring in Australia and it's my favourite time of year. So let me tell you all about September Burton. She is a fertility expert and an abuse survivor and a champion for women survivors of domestic violence. So after years of emotional, verbal, physical abuse, she has finally managed to break free. September started her career as a US Navy personal chef to 4-star admirals in Sicily, Italy. Wow. And she has since taken her expertise and passion for nutrition. She's developed a 6-week eating for fertility nutrition plan for prospective parents, and she's also the founder and CEO of 4 Months to Fertile. September is passionate about living a life with purpose and getting to know, and sharing her knowledge and healing power of food, and freeing women from the debilitating shame and guilt that often accompanies domestic violence. Wow, September, there's a lot there. How are you today? Welcome.
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on. This is so much fun. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm excited too. And look, I just have to ask, so where did your name come from? Whoops, I don't know what's happened to September there.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I think we can hear you now. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so my mom just thought it was a nice name.
Beautiful. Well, I have to agree, it is a nice name. So, September, if you don't mind, if you're happy to, just share with us a few experiences that you've had with domestic violence. So what is your background in that area?
So my story is a story of an attorney who basically, for the last almost year of our relationship, stayed in the relationship just to build a case against me so that he would get full custody of our children. And that all came out in the court hearings. And he recorded me all day, every day for 7 months. And I reported him to the state bar for that, and they called that ordinary behavior. And then he became physically abusive, like I've got medical records. I even had a doctor actually call the police after I left because she really tried to get me to call the police while I was there in the office with her. She was trying to be very supportive, but I still was in that mindset of like, well, if I just did more of this for him, then he would stop hurting me. If I just was more of this, then he would stop hurting me. And so I said no when she wanted to call the police, but she actually called the police after I left the office, which I didn't learn about until later. I have medical records of a permanent spinal injury that he caused, and the U.S. family court system ruled that I was guilty of domestic violence and he was not. And so it's a pretty twisted story, mostly because he's an attorney, and so he completely abused his power and his knowledge of the court system. And my children at this point, my children are the victims. I still live in hiding because he turned into a stalker. So after the separation, when he realized that he couldn't control me anymore, he turned into a stalker, hacked into my home security system. Basically, you know, it gave him the ability to, on his phone, turn off my security system, unlock my front door, and just walk in.
Wow.
And of course, I reported all of this to the police. I even created like an Excel spreadsheet. I have a 2-inch thick binder with evidence of his stalking. I created this Excel spreadsheet to show like the escalation of the stalking over time. And the police have never even so much as brought him in for questioning. So
Wow.
the system has failed me, massively failed me.
It has, and I'm really, really sorry to hear that, September. But what I am proud of you for is that now you are coming on, and you know you reached out to us to come on this show, which was, I think, is amazing. That now you're taking your experiences, you know, as horrific as they are, and now you're speaking up and out against what's happened to you. So what was the deciding, was there a deciding factor that kind of brought you to this point?
To this point of sharing my story?
Yeah.
So when I fled where we were in January of this year. So 2020 has been even a crazier year for me than it has for most people, which is hard to imagine. But so I fled and I went to Hawaii. And I went to the island of Kauai. And as soon as I got to Kauai, everybody started telling me this is where people come to heal. And I thought that was very interesting. And that's exactly what happened. I really used it as my healing place. Every time something stressful would happen, I would go straight to the water. And I cried so many tears in that ocean. And, you know, it really was my healing space. And so when I left Hawaii, I left because he found me there. But it's interesting because looking back, when I got to Hawaii, I was a broken soul. Like I was so broken. And when I left Hawaii, I was whole again. And I felt like that was such a gift and such a blessing. And I had so many women surrounding me and supporting me and rebuilding my soul, that I just feel like that's such an important thing to give back to other people now. I know that statistically speaking, like the numbers of domestic abuse are just, it's too much. And what it does to you, it destroys your soul. And so you really have to go through this process of like reclaiming your soul and piecing it back together. And I like to use, you know, the Japanese, I don't remember the name of it, but you know, the Japanese art of taking a piece of pottery that's been broken and using the glue with the gold in it to piece it back together so that it's, yeah, so it becomes even more beautiful after it's been pieced back together. That's the vision that I have of my soul at this point, because we worked so hard and I had so much support to build it back together. That's what I see. And so that's what I want to give back to other women at this point, and other, you know, any victim of domestic violence, really. So.
Wow, September, that is an amazing, it is an amazing story, as Charlene just commented on. And, you know, again, thank you so much for taking that and now speaking up and out and helping other people. So tell us, I'm really, really interested to know, so what you are doing now. So, you know, you're working with women to help heal them. So tell me a little bit about your business and what you do.
Yeah, so you said a lot about the fertility stuff in the beginning, but also what I've done is one of the pieces that I've used as my healing process is food and nutrition. And I'm such a big believer in eating well really is about self-love. And we talk so much about when you're overcoming abuse, you've got to love yourself. You've got to learn those self-love techniques. And so for me, the foundation of that is really, it's about eating well. That it has nothing to do with weight loss. It has nothing to do with any of those like superficial things. It's more about internally, what is that food doing to you? How much are you loving yourself and your body every time you take a bite of food? So I have a clean eating program on my website, septemberburton.com, and you can go there and you can find, I call it the self-love healing diet. I shouldn't use the word diet. I should change that, actually. As that came out of my mouth, I was like, wait a second, that's not, I should change that. But anyway, it's a self-love eating plan, and it just helps you learn how to really nurture yourself and take care of yourself. And, you know, when you're going through these intense emotions, on the inside of your body, emotions are actually tangible. They're real. They're molecules. And so the food and the way that you're eating allows you to process those emotions a little bit differently than, if you're eating a lot of junk food and not really taking care of yourself. So I think that's a huge piece of it as well.
I absolutely 100% agree. Having been through that, and I know that often we kind of, separate the two, don't we? Mental and physical wellness, but they're very much correlated together. And eating and food and nutrition is the word here, I think, is a really, really big part of that, isn't it?
Yes, it absolutely is. It's huge.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your program.
So it's designed to help people learn how to cook, for one thing. So everything is cooking at home. You do get your cheat meals. Everybody loves that they get their little cheat meals. And it's plenty of food. There's no deprivation whatsoever. I get lots of feedback about how delicious the food is. I did start my career as a chef, so there's that. I like to think that it's good food that you're eating. A lot of juicing, a lot of smoothie. Just very, very clean. One of the things that I've really started to notice as I've been speaking out and talking to victims and survivors, people who are overcoming this, is that a lot of people who get into these domestic violence situations end up getting autoimmune diseases. And so it is sort of designed to help calm down the immune system if your immune system has become overactive and you've started to develop some of those symptoms. So it is definitely designed with that in mind as well, just to help you feel better as you're healing, as you're going through this. You need to feel as good as you can. And so that's really what it's designed for.
Wow. And so as a someone who's been a chef, have you put these, so this is in recipes are involved and you've put them together yourself?
Yes.
Oh, that's incredible. And is it, so I read out before that so it's a 6-week eating plan. So is that the same plan?
It's a little bit different. There's a little bit of differences, but virtually the same. There's a few little nuanced differences, but not much.
Right. So it's a plan that people can follow, and that's certainly going to help them bring out the physical and also the mental wellness as well. So it's going to benefit all around, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's completely laid out for you. I wanted it to make it as easy for you as possible. So it's the shopping list, it's the day by day, week by week plan, all laid out for you. It's got a success manual to talk you through why we're doing things the way that we are. Obviously, all the recipes are included. So yeah, it's really about making it as easy and painless on you as possible.
Wow, September, that sounds absolutely amazing. So tell me, do you have an offer or something that you're putting out to our audience today?
An email, we can get it to you for 50% off if you want. But yeah, September at septemberburton.com is the best way to reach me and talk to me about that.
Fantastic, great. And I know that we'll be putting that up in the chat shortly. That's amazing. And I'm just curious, I should have asked you at the start. So you're coming to us obviously from the US. What time is it where you are at the moment?
It's 11:30. It's really late.
So we're not getting you up at 3 a.m. like we have with other guests.
Yeah, no, it's late for me, but it actually doesn't feel that late. I'm good. So yeah, this is kind of fun.
Oh, good stuff. Well, thank you so much for coming on, September. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. And yes, so if you would like to get in touch with September, we'll put her link in the chat, and you can go and go to her website and learn more about her. And yes, Roz loves it when someone can provide a shopping list. I really dislike shopping. I'm with you, Roz. Me too. So thank you so much, September.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Great. Okay. So, oh my goodness, that was incredible. I actually think I'm going to go have a look at that little eating plan. So we're going to have a quick little break and have an ad by our sponsors, and then I'm going to introduce you to our next guest. In a sec. Hello, I'm back. Beautiful. And oh my goodness, so I'm very excited to introduce you to our next guest. You may know her. She may look slightly familiar because I have the pleasure of introducing Rose Davidson, who is the president of Healing Through Love. And hello, Rose. She's back. Oh. So Rose is obviously, yes, now we've said it before, I think, that you are the president of Healing Through Love. So, and we are run in both South Australia and Tasmania. Yep. But along with running your own business, you have a successful, now this is vodcast, that's called Talking with the Experts, which is discussing all things business by business owners for business owners, which I think is really incredible. And you also are the co-presenter of both Women Unleashed and Dream Maniac TV, available to watch on YouTube. My goodness, Rose, I tell you, ever since I've known you, you are not one to sit still, are you?
No.
So, Rose, now I know you've shared it a little bit before, but tell us, you know, why and maybe how you got involved with Healing Through Love.
Well, it really started with the lovely Charlene, which is our vice president. And in 2018, they were organising a pamper day, and they needed someone to do the admin. So Charlene just told me that, yeah, I had to do it. So that's how it started. I got involved with the Healing Through Love through that initial pamper day. So that was our inaugural pamper day, and just been organising things since then. Our initial president unfortunately left us due to personal reasons, and so I just took over that role. And have been doing it since, I don't know, last year sometime. So, and I'm really enjoying it. There's, plenty to do, and I'm really looking forward to organising the Pamper Day next year. I think it will be bigger and better, and I think it will be our best one yet. So that's it. And, I've had a journey through domestic violence as well. So, I think everyone that's been around Healing Through Love, as far as committee members or executives or whatever, have had some journey through DV. So
so if you're happy, Rose, maybe just tell us a little bit. I know your story, but if you wouldn't mind just telling us briefly a little bit about your story, and why Healing Through Love means so much to you.
I guess I've lived through mainly psychological abusive relationships since I left home at 14. I left home at 14 because I was being sexually abused by my father. So, and I just went from one relationship to another, and most of the time they weren't physically abusive, thankfully, but they were psychologically and emotionally abusive, which I guess it can be more harmful. I guess it took me a lot of years to recognise that I'm worth something, and I think it's only just really this year that I've realised that I really am contributing to the world, and that people look to me for guidance sometimes, and I've helped a lot of people without realising it. So I'm a bit of a protector in that way. So I had a lady yesterday which I protected on Facebook, which you made a comment on. So I won't put up with anything negative about that. And Healing Through Love means so much to me, I guess, because it's a platform where I can advocate my disgust at DV. I hate it. I think it's for both men and women. I think it's got to be eradicated somehow. I mean, I know it's been going on for hundreds of years, but it's about time that it was stamped out. It's just not acceptable behaviour at all in our community. Not now, not in the modern times. I do believe that as a human race, we should be a lot better than what we are. And yeah, that's I'm very strong. I feel very strongly about domestic violence and being against it.
Yeah. And I'm with you there totally, Rose. And, as you were speaking, and I don't think I've ever said this on this show before, but it took me back to the time when we first met. And I don't know if you remember this, but we were actually at a networking event in a little cafe, and you started talking to me about your advocacy with White Ribbon at the time.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And can I say that you are actually the reason that I started doing what I do now. After that conversation. Yeah, it was that conversation that really got me thinking personally that I need to do something else. So, yeah, I don't know why. I just had to say that. So thank you, because you're getting it out there to everybody.
People say that I have that effect, but I just, even Charlene says to me, that I don't know my own power. So, and I just have this, I don't know, this effect that she says I just shine a light, and it just shines a light for everybody and makes them feel better. So,
yeah, absolutely. And Charlene's just put a comment there, Rose, total admin ninja. Totally true too.
I won't put that up, Charlene. Thank you.
I just had to say it. But Rose, I'm really interested. So you've said that you're the co-presenter of Women Unleashed and Dream Maniac TV. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Okay, well, I've just started doing it, but Women Unleashed basically is a program streamed on YouTube that brings together women that have been through some sort of trauma in their life or whatever, and they've come out the other side much stronger than when they obviously went in. So we just had Lindley Evans on this morning talking about her bullying in the workplace. It was an absolutely brilliant interview. So Dramaniac TV is run by Sebastian One, and Women Unleashed was co-hosted by someone else previously, but Sebastian wanted to change the format, so he's got myself and Yolanda Mabusho from South Africa. We are the co-anchors of that show now, and it's run weekly on a Tuesday morning, as I said, live streamed on YouTube. Yeah, so it's to bring women together to to empower other women to say that, yes, I've been through this episode of whatever it might be, and please know that there's others there to support you, and your trauma, if you talk about it, can help somebody else.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's one thing that I've always loved and admired about you, Rose, is that, particularly when it comes to this type of topic, trauma, domestic violence, abuse, whatever it is, you just never sit still, do you? You're always on the go. You're always advocating for it.
Against it, yeah. I always am.
Yeah. I always say that, my goodness, advocating for the survivor.
I used to too, yeah. But I think it's because I've lived through, because my father not only sexually abused me, but he physically abused me, he psychologically and emotionally abused me. So, I was, diagnosed with depression in my 50s, PTSD and bipolar and all those things stemming from childhood abuse. So, it took 40 odd years to get a diagnosis and properly treated for something that happened, when I was a child. So, there's hope for all of us. We've all come out, I've come out the other side. I'm getting stronger every day. And it hasn't been an easy journey, I've got to say. I know even in my current marriage, there was a period of DV here, but we've gone past that and we're still together. I must say it's one of the rarities, but we're still together, and I don't think we'll ever get divorced or anything silly like that anytime soon. So yeah, but you know, we worked it out, and sometimes you can. It just depends.
Yeah, and I think that's an incredibly powerful statement to make too, is that, you know, sometimes it can, often it doesn't, but there are, you know, like you say, rare circumstances like yours that it can work out, and that's awesome. So Rose, tell us a little bit. We know of, you know, the Adelaide Pamper Day, so we've been running those, you know, for several years now. So I know that you're in Tasmania now, and we're looking to do a Pamper Day, obviously, again next year in Tasmania. So can you tell us a little bit about that Pamper Day at all?
Well, I do have some people as exhibitors, but I am looking for some more. I do have the showgrounds booked out here in Hobart. It's the whole upstairs of the grandstand area. It's been gifted to me for the day. By the manager there. I used to work with him when in a previous life when I was a customs officer. So he went to work for the showground people, and so we met at a retired officers' night last year, and he gifted it to me for this year, but because of the virus and everything, we've had to cancel. So yeah, he still gifted it to me for next year. So I'm looking for exhibitors, I'm looking for caterers, I'm looking for, you know, everything, absolutely everything, because I have no network down here at all. And because I've been away for like 20 odd years, and so those connections have all gone now. I wouldn't even know where to start looking. So if anyone is listening in Tassie, or anyone that's listening that knows anyone in Tassie, please reach out to me, or reach out to them to reach out to me, because I could really use some help. And a community would be nice too. It's really hard to organise something all on your own.
Yes, good point. Yes, so there you go, people. If all over Australia, if you know anyone in Tasmania, please put them in touch with Rose. Charlene and I here are in SA, so we've kind of got each other. But yes, Rose could certainly do with the network. So if you know it, share it.
Our addresses, email addresses at the bottom of the screen.
Let's put it out there. Shout it loud and proud, Rose. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your story today. And, you know, personally for me, I just thank you for continuing with Healing Through Love. And it is an absolute pleasure to work alongside you and Charlene. So beautiful.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to bring the lovely Charlene back on home.
Oh, yeah. See, Rose is in charge of all the... out there, shout it loud and proud, right?
There you are.
Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your story today. Charlene. And, you know, personally for me, I just thank you for continuing with Healing Through Love, and it is an absolute pleasure to work alongside you and Charlene. So I'm
going to bring the lovely Charlene back on home.
Oh yes, Rose is in charge of all the.
Oh God, yes. I put you in it. All right.
No, that's all good, because I'm chatting on the group on Facebook too. I'm doing it all.
You're having fun. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, everyone, joining myself and my colleagues. And as Rose said, if you can help out in any way, either in Tasmania or South Australia with Healing Through Love, please get in contact with us, htladelaide@gmail.com. Or you can go to our Facebook page, Healing Through Love SA, and I love that Charlene always does that. Yep, I've got to learn how to do that more. Thank you, everyone, for joining us at lunchtime today, and we will see you at 1 p.m. Adelaide time next week. Mwah. Bye. Bye.